Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles. We're going to talk about social media and this ban in Australia on social media for kids under 16 years old. I think it's a proposed ban. Do I think it's a good thing, a bad thing? You know, I don't know. I think that social media has its advantages, but I also think that young people's brains have been pickled by social media, particularly TikTok, and before that, Twitter, and before that, we had Tumblr. And I think, you know, I don't know if you can actually enforce this, but we're gonna read about it, see if we can figure out what's going on here. But yeah, Silicon Valley is panicked because if they can't reach the youths anymore, they can't market to kids and you know, get them to think crazy thoughts about the world and the reality of the world. You know, what are they going to do? What are they going to do, guys? Yeah, there goes their watch time, because it is. I mean, you know, kids, yeah, under 18, they make up a huge portion of watch time for social media. So anyway, we're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Go out to clownfish-com. Check out the Reef. You can get exclusive content. We also have all kinds of merchandise out there. If you guys want to pick up, we got hats and shirts and all kinds of cool stuff. Look, a couple of signed items. I think we have a couple signed items left, but thank you very much for the support. I don't think we have to worry about this, because at least on the main Clownfish TV channel, our demographic is, as I understand it, 25 to 55 primarily. I don't think we have any kids or any young people watching us, or anybody that's really young watching us, because we're boring as hell. We're Gen Xers. We're kind of old. You know, the people that do watch us hate watch us, and they're usually cartoon stands, and I don't think they watch us with any regularity. Actually, I question whether or not they watch us at all. I think they look at the thumbnails, decide what the video is about, and then they just go on some bender on like Reddit or something. You know, that seems to be par for the course. But yeah, the Guardian's got this. Why Silicon Valley is panicked over Australia's under 16 social media ban. This on Thursday, Australia passed a law. Okay, so it is passed a law banning children under 16 from social networks. Helen Sullivan reported from Sydney. She said the Online Safety Amendment, social media minimum age bill, bans social media platforms from allowing users under 16 to access their services, threatening companies with fines of up to $50 million in Australian money, which is $32 million in U.S. money, if they fail to comply. However, it contains no details about how it's going to work, only that the companies will be expected to take reasonable steps to ensure users are aged 16 or over. Put Clownfish TV on the homepage. That's what you do. Like they don't like us. The detail will come later, though. The completion of a trial of age assurance technology in mid-2025. Trial of age assurance technology. The bill won't come into force for another 12 months. The bill does not specify which companies the legislation would apply to, though. Communications Minister Michelle Rowland said that Snapchat, which I forgot still existed, TikTok, X, Instagram, Reddit, and Facebook are likely to be part of the ban. Not YouTube. Oh, YouTube will not be included because of the significant educational purpose. TikTok for sure, though. TikTok is, I'm telling you, TikTok is the source of brain rot right now. Can we say brain rot? It's the source of brain rot in teens and young adults. The new law was drafted in response to what the Labour Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says is a clear, casual link between the rise of social media and the harm to the mental health of young Australians. Interesting. That is really interesting. Yeah, because I think we've talked about this before, especially in regards to old Twitter and Reddit and TikTok, especially, that there is a link between those platforms and brain rot and mental health issues. I believe 100%. Objections to the law are vigorous and multifold. TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and X are mad. In response to the legislation's passage, Meta said the process was rushed and failed to consider the voices of young people, the measures the tech industry already takes to protect them, and existing evidence about the effects of their social media use. I just know that all the insanity in the world, and I'm not calling for, I won't be very clear, I'm not calling for a ban on social media at all, because I do believe in free speech. But if you want to get down to it, there is a definite correlation between some of these platforms and young people being brainwashed. God, I sound so old, but yeah, no, I 100% believe it, because we didn't see this on the old internet. They tried to say that, like, well, everybody's been radicalized by Gamergate because of 4chan. No, not like this. I mean, it's not like this. Australian children are not a significant user base to any of these companies, according to UNICEF. 5.7 million people under 18 were living in Australia in 2023. That's it? Wow. I thought there were a lot more people in Australia, unless they're not having kids. Facebook reported 3 billion monthly users in May of 2023. India is home to some 370 million Facebook users. Even if every child in Australia left social media, which is unlikely, user numbers would not meaningfully decline. That is probably true. The worry for tech companies is the precedent set by the new law that tech companies also strenuously opposed measures in both Australia and Canada that require them to pay for news content. Yeah, now you got to go to X and pay for news content. The problem was not the amount of money required or demanded, but what might follow. If every country in the world required payment for news, the financial burden saddling Facebook and others would be enormous. So basically what they're afraid of is the domino effect, right? They're like, oh, Australia banned it, so how many other countries are going to ban social media for young people? I don't think the US is going to do it. I can't see India doing it, but who knows? China, I mean, that whole thing is locked down over there. But yeah, it's kind of wild. I mean, they're really freaking out. So here are laws in other countries. Again, from The Guardian. Tech has its own regulation. They said that, yeah, you have to be 13 to sign up, but it's not true, right? They just use their parents' account. In the UK, Britain has no plans for an Australia-style restriction. In Norway, the Norwegian government last month proposed raising the age at which children can consent to the terms required to use social media to 15 from 13. EU legislation in the European Union, parental consent is required for the processing of personal data. Again, it doesn't matter how many laws they put in place. Kids are going to use their parents' accounts, or parents are going to, sign them up for it or whatever. Yeah, I mean, this is basically the government looking like it's trying to do something. It's going to make it harder for these tech companies. Yeah, but I mean, come on. Like, the parents are just going to hit the, accept. Okay, here you go. And just hand the iPad to Timmy, and that's going to be it. And then Timmy is going to be Tammy in 6 months, right? I mean, that's just how it works, right? Yeah, 6 months of TikTok, right? In France, in 2023, France passed a law requiring social platforms to obtain parental consent for minors under 15 to create accounts. Local media says the technical challenges mean it has not yet been enforced. So yeah, good luck enforcing it. It's very hard to enforce. Germany, minors between 13 and 16 are allowed to use social media in Germany only if their parents give consent, and they will. Belgium enacted a law. Belgium exists. I keep forgetting Belgium exists. Belgium enacted a law requiring children to be at least 13 to create a social media account. Netherlands doesn't have any laws because it's the Netherlands. Italy, you have to be 14. And you're probably, in some of these countries, I'm like, do you have to be younger than that to consent to sexual activity? Because some of these countries are pretty risque, I think. In that regard, it's like, yeah, you only have to be 12 for that. But if you want to use Facebook, you got to be 15. I don't know. So yeah, this has come from Forbes, how the social media ban might have major ripple effects. And they said, yeah, they're just worried that it's going to kind of, they said, oh, this is interesting. Okay. So they said, yeah, this is going to have ripple effects on the economy for sure. But they said, how the social media ban addresses teen mental health. One of the most recent reports explains how social media can impact teenagers. While the findings did mention a few benefits, such as increased socialization, there's clear evidence that social media can cause stress and mental health issues for teens. Even adults. There are people that have taken their own lives because of social media pressure. I mean, I don't think we were designed for this. We're basically giving ESP to people who are not prepared to know what other people actually think of them. And we're throwing people in front of each other that normally would not have any contact with one another from all over the world, from all over different walks of life. Like, even 20, 30 years ago, you would have limited contact with somebody who was maybe diametrically opposed to you. But now, because you'd live in your part of the world and they'd live in their part of the world, and the two would not intermingle, and now we're just like throwing people in front of each other like a freaking car crash. And we're watching that, and these companies are profiteering off of that. They are. They like the engagement. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad engagement. It's engagement, it's views, and they can monetize it. So they love it. They love it when Democrats and Republicans are fighting. They love it when communists and capitalists are fighting because they can monetize it. They love it when there's drama because they can monetize it, right? But they said an even more alarming stat has to do with teens feeling depressed. They said a recent study found that 40% of teens who use social media struggle with feelings of sadness. Even worse, the same study found teenage girls are twice as likely as boys to have suicidal thoughts if they frequent social media. Another finding has to do with obsessive social media use, which has led to tech addiction. That is true. Talk about the iPad kids. It's becoming more common, especially in teens, that they're addicted to tech. The Australian social media ban is obviously a reaction to all these. So I don't know if it's going to work or not, guys, but the tech companies should be concerned if some countries are starting to ban it. Again, I don't see it happening here in the US, but who the hell knows? I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.